For a moment, nobody moved. Heat shimmered above the dust, and the lane held its breath. Then Lazy barked, short and sharp, annoyed at being challenged for his meal. His gaze slid past the mother to the little shape trembling behind her hind legs. The calf squealed, knees knocking, pressing itself against her thigh, trying to climb inside the shadow of her plates.
No clean shot.
Izel breathed.
Too much plate between us and the king.
We wait.
Tic Tic said.
Let kings argue with the street.
Brush to their right trembled again. A different rhythm. A second set of footfalls came in fast, steps landing a half beat off Lazy's. A built-in hesitation, like the song knew it wasn't leading.
Brother.
Tic Tic muttered. The second tyrant slid into view along the flank, narrower through the chest, one shoulder pulled tight with old scar tissue, so his gait leaned just enough to earn him his name. Canted. He moved like a knife, head low, body loose, weight never settling where it had just been. He snapped at the mother's hip once, teeth clacking shut, just short as her tail swung past his snout. No commit, just a taste of distance. Then he backed off, pacing. Lazy bellowed again, deeper. Dust jumped and fell. He wasn't asking. The mother spike tail stamped, tail trembling. You could almost see the maths running behind her eyes. Calf versus kings, herd versus ground. How many hits she could afford.
Mira como piensa.
Izel whispered.
She's counting every blow she can take.
So are we.
Tic Tic said. His fingers slid into the leather loop. The lever lifted a fraction. Tick. Soft. Tucked under the bigger sounds. Lazy's head twitched. Not toward the herd, toward the brush. Izel's eyes cut to Tic Tic like a blade.
If they hear...
If they hear it,
he murmured back.
We're already dead.
Nothing moved for a breath. Heat shimmered above the dust. Insects held their noise tight. Far off, the shieldhorn they'd watched thunder away gave one more ragged call, thin with distance and confusion. The brothers flicked their heads toward it, then back again. The running hill was meat too, but it had horns and speed. The calf was close, stupid, partially wrapped in plates others would pay to protect. Lazy rolled his jaw like he was tasting all the choices.
Choose, cabron.
Tic Tic whispered. Lazy dipped his head left, testing the tail's reach. Canted ghosted right, eyes on tendons, waiting for the one overextension you only saw once. The mother lifted her tail another handspan and screamed again. That call dragged more than just neighbors. 3 more spike tails crashed out of the scrub. Bulls and aunties, plates scarred, tails already rising. They plowed into a loose half-moon, flanks brushing as they closed around the calf, faces toward the kings. 4 tails hovered now, 4 thagomizers, 4 sets of long spikes, 2 per side, heavy enough to crack bone and turn dirt into smoke.
Now it's a street fight.
Izel muttered.
Too many doors, not enough alleys.
Canted widened his circle automatically, searching the outer edge where there'd still be space to move. Lazy stepped up until his shadow washed over the front row of plates. His gaze kept flicking between the herd and the memory of the shieldhorn's trail.
Big brother wants the calf.
Tic Tic said.
Small wants the shieldhorn. Both want to keep all their teeth.
Which are we?
Izel asked.
Not on the list,
He said.
Stay that way.
For a long moment, nothing gave. Then the sound changed. The shield horn came back. It crashed out of the scrub downslope, sweat slick and wild-eyed, having looped in a wide, panicked arc. It saw what had ruined its guts standing in its trail. Lazy, shoulder turned slightly away, attention split between herd and calf.
Brave and stupid.
Tic Tic murmured. The shield horn screamed and charged. Lazy saw it late. He twisted, swinging shoulder instead of ribs. The horn still hit with a meat-deep crunch, scraping along armor-thick hide. One horn found an old scar and bit in. Flesh slid. Half-healed tissue tore. Lazy roared, so close the sound punched air out of Tic Tic's lungs through the bushes. Dust shook down off the leaves like grit rain. Canted moved the instant his brother's cry peaked. He lunged and clamped onto the shield horn's hind leg, just above the knee. Teeth sank through hide and muscle, hunting tendon like rope. Bone popped. The shield horn's rear quarter folded. Its charge turned into a helpless skid, frill grinding into dirt, horns still pointing bravely at nothing it could reach. A neighbor spike tail swung blind, tail lashing in a savage arc toward the chaos. Canted saw that tail. He jerked his head aside, dragging the ruined leg with him. Spikes hissed past his muzzle, close enough to rattle his teeth. He didn't see the mothers. She'd aimed low and mean for Lazy's hamstring. All her rage poured into the swing. Lazy yanked his leg back at the last heartbeat. The spike skimmed his scales and smashed into Canted's foot instead. The sound was wrong. Canted shrieked, high, tearing, not a sound meant for a throat that size. His grip slipped, toes splayed, one claw bent sideways at an angle feet shouldn't know.
There.
Tic Tic said, barely moving his lips.
We keep that.
Canted limps.
Izel said.
Lazy's shoulders cut. Shieldhorn's dying.
Her jaw tightened.
Too many teeth.
And we're soup if we stay.
Tic Tic said. For half a breath, the whole mess forgot they existed. Lazy got his feet under him. Rage steadied him. He lunged for the shield horn's neck, jaws closing just behind the skull. He leaned his whole weight in, legs driving like he was toppling a wall. Vertebrae crunched. The shield horn's scream stopped halfway. The spike-tail herd hammered the earth again, tails raining blows that were more fury than aim. One set of spikes slammed into the dirt, close enough to Lazy's bad shoulder to throw grit into his eye. He jerked back, shaking blood and dust down his face. Tic Tic's hand tightened on the loop. No extra tick, just the draw.
For the gate,
he said. The bolt tore a narrow line through the air and hammered into the meat under Lazy's jaw, just behind the hinge. Not deep enough to drop him, deep enough to burn every breath. Lazy roared again, this time less fury, more shock. For an instant, he forgot the dead hill, forgot the herd, forgot the world, forgot everything but the spike in his throat and the remembered sound that came with it. His gaze raked the brush. Nostrils flared. Teeth clacked on empty air.
Now he knows you.
Izel muttered.
Felicidades.
He knew the town.
Tic Tic said.
Now the town knows where he bleeds.
Canted limped closer, favoring his smashed toes, jaw slick with blood. He snapped once toward the herd, testing for a steal. 4 tails rose in reply. He thought better of it. Lazy made his decision. He seized the shieldhorn carcass by the neck and dragged it toward the riverside of the lane. Bad footing, sloped ground, water biting at stone. If anyone wanted to fight him for the kill, they'd do it with their balance already half spent. Canted followed, head low, counting distances with his one good eye.
River's too close.
Izel whispered.
Good.
Tic Tic said.
Means we only have to beat a king for a few steps.
That's supposed to be funny?
Ask later.
He nudged her downhill as the kings wrestled their kill toward the slope. The spike-tail herd pulled back upslope, circling tight around the calf, refusing to follow bleeding tyrants onto ground their plates didn't trust.
Now.
Tic Tic breathed.
Stay under brush. Don't silhouette.
They moved when everything else moved, behind the drag of dead weight, the grunt of tyrant lungs, the last furious bellows of spike-tails. Branches clawed at Izel's arms and ribs. Her breath went sharp. She swallowed the urge to gasp and kept pace. Lazy settled at the lip of the slope. Claws dug in. Jaws soared. Meat opened. Canted hung half a body length back, waiting his turn. One eye flicking to the herd, to the water, to the brush. Below them, the river punched white where it hit stone, fast enough to bury rocks, deep enough to steal footing. Izel saw it the same moment Tic Tic did.
Don't tell me.
She whispered.
Too many teeth on land.
Tic Tic said.
Less in the water.
Less.
She hissed.
Not none.
Better odds.
Lazy tried to eat, but the cut shoulder and the jaw wound made him twitchy. His one good eye kept scanning. His nostrils flared, hunting the tick like it had a scent. For once, the wind helped, carrying their smell uphill, away from his nose. Then stone betrayed them. A small clatter, loose rock kicked by a boot. Canted's head snapped round. One eye pinned 2 upright shapes, easing down the bank. Dark leather, dull metal, little teeth that hurt more than they should. He gave a harsh bark. Not a roar. A word. There. Lazy's head followed. Rage and calculation knotting together.
Run?
Izel whispered.
Too late.
Tic Tic said.
Jump.
Old instincts tried to glue her feet to the slope. You didn't run toward bad ground with kings on your heels. You didn't turn your back on jaws that size. His hand closed around her wrist and tore her forward. They went sideways, not away, down. Boots slid on loose dirt. The bank crumbled, turning control into a half-fall. Lazy lunged. His skull plunged after them, jaws yawning wide, teeth like pale stakes, aimed at where they would be if the world behaved. The shift of his weight shook the slope.
Down.
Tic Tic snarled. They hit the lip. And then there was nothing under them but air, noise, and dark water. The river hit Tic Tic. The thrown stone hits mud. Cold slammed through armor into bone. Water stole his breath and shuffled up his spine. The current grabbed his legs and spun him sideways, bow dragging at his shoulder. No up, no down, just force. He kicked on old member and broke the surface, coughing, dragging river and air into the same burning chest. The current yanked him away from the bank in a sliding arc. Above, Lazy's jaws crashed shut on empty space. Water exploded between those teeth in two white fans.
Tic!
Izel choked somewhere to his left. He reached blind, found leather, hair, her forearm, solid. The river tried to pull them opposite directions. He refused.
Don't fight it.
He gasped.
Kick with it. Angle right. Bend in the bank, see?
Lazy paced the bank, tracking their tumble. Claws tore grooves in the soft slope. Every few steps he stabbed down with his skull, guessing where the current would spit them up. Each time he got nothing but water and loose rock. Canted limped behind him, unwilling to trust his smashed foot to the bad edge. He moaned low, frustrated. The shieldhorn lay open behind them, flies already thick on steaming meat. But Lazy's pride dragged him along the river a few breaths longer than hunger wanted.
Hold.
Tic Tic rasped. He let the current spin them around a submerged boulder, using the river's pull to swing them toward the far bank. Dark shapes moved under the surface. Rocks, roots, the river's own fists. His shin clipped one and lit his leg with hot pain. Ahead, reeds knotted thick into the mud.
Grab green.
He coughed.
Anything that lives here knows how to hold on.
Izel reached with her good arm and caught reeds, then more. Roots held like embedded fists. The current slammed her into the bank. Her shoulder cracked stone, and she bit down a scream. Tic Tic hit her a heartbeat later, almost tearing the plants free. They held. They clawed out of the water on their bellies, dragging bodies more mud than human, boots gouging twin tracks up the slope. For a few breaths, the world shrank to coughing and the mean taste of river in their throats. When they finally looked up, Lazy was there on the opposite bank. Water licked at his toes, chest heaving. Blood and river grime streaked down his neck from the jaw wound. One eye glared, bright, furious amber. The other was a red ruin caked with dust and gore. Canted stood behind him, jaw hanging wrong, breath coming short, bad foot lifted like he didn't trust the ground to remember him. Lazy paced 3 steps left, 3 steps right along the crumbling edge. Every stride took another bite out of the bank. The river tugged at the soil under his claws, like it wanted a taste too. He lowered his head and gave one long roar, straight across the water. The sound slapped reeds flat and vibrated in their ribs. Mine. Izel flinched despite herself. Tic Tic only watched, water dripping off his armor in dark lines, bow hanging wet at his back. His fingers twitched toward the lever, then fell still. Range. Water. King. Stupid odds.
Don't.
Izel said low.
Let him eat the hill. We already stole his patience.
On the third turn, Canted called. The smaller tyrant threw his head back and barked toward the carcass. Even with his jaw half ruined, the meaning carried. Meat. Here, now. A king could cross bad ground after hard prey and bleed for it, or eat the big stupid thing lying open on the slope for free. Lazy held them in his stare, another heartbeat. Then he looked back at the shieldhorn. He chose, with a last huff that was more insult than roar. He turned away from the river and trudged upslope, neck wound, dripping a new pattern into dust. Canted limped after him, every step a reminder of spike-tail spikes. Together they walked back into the swarm of flies that had claimed the dead hill. Izel fell back into the reeds and laughed once, sharp and unsteady.
River likes us today.
She rasped.
River likes easy food.
Tic Tic said.
Same as kings. We just weren't on the menu.
She flexed the fingers of her hurt arm, testing the tremble. Mud and water glued cloth to skin. When she moved, it peeled slow, leaving a spreading dark patch at her shoulder. Pain pulsed steady under it.
River takes scent. Washes half this story before it reaches the bowl.
And the ledger?
Izel asked. He watched the kings tearing into the shieldhorn on the opposite slope, still too big, even at that distance.
We keep this,
he said.
Herd numbers. Mama with a voice. Lazy's jaw and shoulder. Canted's limp.
He looked once more at the lane. Then he turned away. They followed the bank downstream until the roar of rapids thinned into a steady, angry hiss. The calls of spike-tails faded back into the plain. Birds, insects, wind. The far murmur of Ashforge, waking up jumpier than yesterday. Heat climbed off stone again. Everything smelled of wet rock, bruised plants, sun-struck armor. Izel's shoulder kept its own stubborn beat. Tic Tic's shin answered with a quieter complaint. His eyes flicked once to the dark patch spreading on her sleeve, then back to the path ahead. He said nothing.
That was close.
Izel said.
Too close. Next time, we take the quiet wash?
Next time we bring more rope.
She managed a half laugh. The rest was leftover fear. Behind them, the river carried away blood, scent, bits of story. Anything that didn't know how to hold on. Behind, Ashforge waited like a throat of stone. And somewhere back on the slope, a king with a wounded jaw lifted his head now and then, tasting the air like he was trying to remember a sound. The tick, the hand, the next time.